Hey, everyone. It's Jane from Your Weight Loss. And today we have a special guest with us. On a Sonya de Sleepbebesleep. And this topic was hot in the DMs today. We posted just this morning that we were having her as a guest. And the minute you talk about sleep and babies, especially our followers, they're in the trenches. A lot of our followers are in the trenches of the sleeping. So tons of people are very much interested in this subject. So thank you so much for being here, Sonya.
Thank you. It's okay. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Yeah, I've been following you girls for a long time, so this is weird.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. So we met Sonya at an event in Moncton, and we were just so, I don't know, when we met her, Leash, we were just like, we need to have her on the podcast. We attacked her.
Yes, we loved that she wasn't wearing a bra and that she looked gorgeous. And that I loved not only the idea of your business, because like I had trauma with my child, and I would have done anything for someone like you 10 years ago. But not only that, I loved the language that you were using when you were speaking about making changes. And I'm like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah, we definitely really enjoyed our conversation with you. Obviously for us to be like, oh my God, we connected with your language and your business. We're like, oh, what a good business model. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's good. We're really happy and proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that means a lot.
Okay. So tell us about your business. Tell us how this came about. How did you become Sleepbebesleep?
Yeah, good question. Well, actually, I had no clue this existed before I had my son. You know what I mean? And so I guess I was naive, but when I was pregnant, I'm like, okay, sleep is going to be easy and I'm just going to go with the flow. But then Louis came along and shit hit the fan. You know what I mean? It was like sleep deprived, hardcore, waking up every 2 hours, and even starting seeing things like shadows. Like I was that much sleep deprived. Yeah. So I'm like, I need to do something. And one of my friends suggested like a little online course. And that's when I discovered that, okay, I can do things to improve my son's sleep, and it doesn't have to be super complicated, doesn't have to be traumatic. And I started being passionate about baby sleep, and I saw that all my friends and mommy fit groups were struggling with sleep. So I'm like, clearly there's a demand for that, and clearly I can make it happen. So then that's when I enrolled and started my certification and started my business 1 year ago. So yeah.
So it's just 1 year ago.
Yeah, it's
oh my goodness. Well, congratulations. I mean, that is how you create business, you guys. If you're listening, like it's seeing an opportunity or seeing a demand for something and often businesses are led or are started by passion and almost like experience. So you were experiencing the demand of this product, this service, and it wasn't available. So c'est bon.
Yeah, because there's a lot of online things, but like to actually speak to someone to help you with sleep or having like personalized help, it doesn't really exist around here anyways. So yeah.
No, it does not exist around here. Yeah. I remember looking, like my mom was like desperate to help me. And she was like, I found this woman in Australia that will help you. And like, but it's only $7,000. And it was just like, we were like right at that breaking point. So we're happy that the people have you.
Oh,
yes. And I mean, as two moms, like, you know, for me, Noah's only 4. So I'm still like, he's sleeping fine. It's not that, is like, I still very much remember all the, like how I feel about sleeping and how in my household, it was so important to me that like sleep is very important in my household. And so that's why I connect with like, oh yes, like she's helping people sleep better. I just like I see the value in that. And Alicia, I remember her trauma. I told Jeff this morning, I'm like, oh, so we have this, the owner of Sleepbebesleep on the podcast this morning. It's so exciting. People are so excited. And he's like, oh, what are you guys going to talk about? I'm like, oh my God, everything. And then I'm like, we're probably going to talk about the fact that Alicia used to do in her living room as we're just like trying to hang out and talk. And then he's like, and her breasts are out. And it's just like, and I'm like, yes, that is what we're going to talk about.
Imagine that I used to tandem breastfeed my twins in front of whoever happened to be around. And I was 70 more pounds than I am now. That was a lot of breast.
Yeah. There's a lot of tissue.
A lot of tissue. Okay. Anyways, this is not about me and my breasts. Okay. Where do we start?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, thank you for being here. And we have just so many questions. So I think this is what the people want, right? They want to know, they want advice right now. And so let's just get to it. The first one that I think I'm very much interested in is time change. So people were wondering about like, what is your advice for time change with sleeping? And so let's talk about time change.
I actually just wrote a blog about this because it's a hot topic and everybody wants to know. So the time change is always scary. And for me, even like I have a good sleeper and last year it hit me hard, you know, I was waking up earlier. And so the best thing you can do even prior, like we're like, what, a week and a half away, I think, and is to make sure your child is well rested. Like the more rested your child is, it's less going to be of a big deal, you know, because an hour, it's like, we can feel a little jet lag. You know what I mean? It's an hour that shifts our circadian rhythm. So yeah, keeping them well rested is great. But one thing you can do if you want to work on their sleep before the time change, you can bump the bedtime 30 minutes later for a few days. So let's say like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, you bump to 7:30 p.m. Let's say they go to bed at 7. And then hopefully they wake up 30 minutes later. And then it's only a 30-minute difference once the time change arrives. But if you're like me, I usually keep it simple and don't do anything and then just hope for the best. And just because my child usually adapts pretty well, usually when he's well rested, and so you can do that as well. But if you want to get ready and make sure that but if you bump the bedtime, you need to bump everything 30 minutes, so it gets confusing. You know what I mean? Like the meal time should be 30 minutes later, the wake up time, so the nap, so that gets things a little complicated. I mean, some parents are willing to do that, so that's okay. But I will have a blog with all the details if parents want more information on that specific. But yeah, so either bump the bedtime a little bit or do nothing, and in a few days they'll adjust usually.
Yeah. Where can people find your blog?
On my website, so sleepbebesleep.com. Yeah.
Good for you for having, see, no one had taken it. No one had taken the website. It's so good. It's so good. See, we don't even have yourwayweightloss.com for like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was 11 years ago. Someone's holding on.
I know what you mean. When I created my name, I looked first and I'm like, I want to have the domain and Facebook and Instagram. I was lucky. Yeah. Everything was still.
Yeah. You rocked it. Good for you. Okay. So this, like a few of them said this, my 4-year-old and 6-year-old is wearing pull-ups overnight, but wakes up soaked in the morning. Like any advice? I mean, I know that's not really sleep related, but like, what would you say about that?
Like, I'm not a potty trained person. No. So the best advice, I guess, well, have they tried like a bigger size? Maybe it doesn't exist either. I don't know. That's an option. But if not, maybe their little one is probably not ready to be potty trained if their pull-up is full. So to be honest, I can't help you with that one. Like, and even my son, like he's going to be 4 in April and he's not fully potty trained in the night. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? I don't know. Do you have advice?
No, I mean, no. Like for me, I was like, who cares? Wear a nighttime diaper till you're 12. Like I literally do not care.
I felt the same because sleep is so important. I'm like, I don't want to screw up the sleep.
No, absolutely.
And I actually, Phoebe I diagnosed her something weird with her bladder. Like she is like literally needs to pee every 20 minutes. So she must have like a small bladder or something. And so she was developmentally way above her twin sister with everything. And she just couldn't hold her pee all night. Like she would pee the bed all the time. And I was just like, I'm fighting it. She's just like physiologically not ready. Like kids all get ready for that at different times.
That's what I think too. You know what I mean? And you need to go with them if they're probably not ready.
Yeah. And if they're not like, so I have a 4-year-old, right? So he is potty trained in the night, but like that was like his choice. He didn't want to put a diaper anymore. And I was like, well, if this is what you want, less liquids, like after 5:36, no more liquids. You have to go pee. If you don't go pee, you're putting a diaper. Because sleep is so important to me. And when you show up at 2 a.m. and you're like, I peed the bed. I am not.
But you said something too, liquids. Like some people maybe give milk in the night. Yeah, I would cut all of that. Yeah, definitely stay away from milk and like water right before bed. Yeah, that would help. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a good one. Should you ever wake a sleeping baby, like a newborn?
That's a good one.
A newborn. Yeah, that's a good question. I guess, yes, there are exceptions. Like let's say your little one, has been sleeping for 3-4 hours and haven't eaten, it's been 3 or 4 hours, I would wake them to feed, because you want them to eat at least at like every 3 hours during the day, so that they can stretch maybe a little longer in the night sometimes. Sometimes no, they still eat at every 3 hours during the night, but it would just to be for the feedings really, that you would wake up a newborn, because their schedule is all over the place when they're little, you know, they don't sleep at certain times. And so yeah, it would be to preserve the feedings, to make sure they eat enough. And if your doctor's like, your child is okay, feed them whenever, I would not stress, let them sleep, I guess. Yeah.
I have a random question that comes to mind. That whole would you wake them up if they're oversleeping so that they like keep their sleep for the night type thing? You know what I mean? What about that one?
Great question. So surprisingly, sleep brings more sleep. So if your little one sleeps well during the day, they'll sleep better during the night. So don't be scared of having a newborn that sleeps a lot during the day, because it's just going to help with the nights really. Yeah, like babies need a lot of sleep. Yeah, like a lot. Like some newborns it can be like 18 hours. And I mean, like they can sleep a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what if this is interesting. What if my baby doesn't burp? What if I can't make my baby burp before bedtime? What should I do? And like, just, I don't know, having like 8 and 4-year-olds, I'm like, it's just, you just put him to bed. You know what I mean? Like, Dia would never burp. Like she was not a burper. So I just like knew that about her. So what would you say to that?
I guess I have more questions for that person. Like, have they tried different positions for burping? Is it upsetting the baby? Like sometimes some babies don't need to burp as much and they're okay. But is the baby gassy? Is the baby... Yeah, I would ask all those questions, but I think it's not a big deal. But I have an example. So I work with this family right now, and he was eating 8 times per night, and like for a month, and not burping. While she was saying that he had stomach issues, well, obviously was eating nonstop and not burping. So like it can affect sleep. You know what I mean? So the burping can be important, but there's other factors. Like, are you feeding them all night? And yeah, there's a lot of component that goes.
I mean, it's like anything else, right? There's no like Google answer to your baby, just like there's no Google answer to your weight loss. Like there's no, it really is like, we have so much to talk about, right? Like you have so much reflection to do. And like, there's the answer is not only in that. Sometimes it's like, you have to look at everything else.
Exactly. That's why I feel it's so similar to what you guys do. Like, yeah. And I ask so many questions, and because there's so many factors.
Oh my
exactly,
gosh,
like
this conversation is like bringing me back to like the PTSD of like overthinking everything. No offense if you guys are listening and you have little kids, but you are overthinking this shit. Like just like an obsessing, should I wake them up? Should I not? Did I feed them too much? Did they burp enough? Like, oh my gosh.
And that's how I felt with this question. I'm like, is your baby sleeping? Don't worry about the burping. Like, and that's why I would want to ask, why are you asking this? Is it because the internet told you that your baby should always burp? Your baby should sleep. If it's not burping, it means it doesn't need to burp. And guys, like for sure, I felt the same way. Like, you know, like, oh shit, she's not burping. And you're like, she should burp.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I feel like, so what does it look like? You work with a family, someone says, help me. Then what do you do?
Someone says, help me, please. And usually I start with a discovery call, like an intro call because I want to get to know them and I want them to get to know me to see if we're a good fit. Because sometimes we're not. Maybe they have unrealistic goals, or maybe it's just not the right fit. So that's what I like to do first. And then if we are going to work together, then I send like a big intake form. So that's where all the questions go into, and I want to know everything about the family and the sleep situation. And even little things they would not think of that can affect sleep type of thing. Then I have like an hour consult with them. I dive deeper in the questions and get to know their family, their values. That's when we talk about like what we want to do for sleep. What are you willing to do? What's your child's personality? Because some are like high temper, some are like the chillest babies. It really depends. So we adjust with that. And then I create like a sleep plan for them. So it's just like a step-by-step guide where it's like everything they need to know, like the sleep environment, the schedule, what to do if this happens, naps, everything. Because sometimes we're just missing puzzle pieces, you know what I mean? For it to come together. So I provide like everything you need, and then support, of course. I usually follow them for 2 to 4 weeks to when they implement the changes, because it can be hard implementing changes. And sometimes you need someone to to help you, cheer you on, and ask your questions. Yeah, that's what I do mostly.
I love that you consider the family's values like that, and like the child, like that is amazing. Just using that word is amazing. Whereas, you know, when I was trying to do this with Alfie, it was just like, oh, here's the book. Literally, here's the book. Do this.
Mhm.
And don't go in that room. And it felt like very like suffocating. Like when you're on a diet, that's telling you exactly what to eat.
Yeah. No, I definitely consider what they want and what they're willing to do, and what their philosophies or family values are, because that's important, because I never want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. You know what I mean? Like it's not, I'm just like, this is your goal. Do you want to reach? Okay, well, we can take this path, this path. It doesn't matter which, kind of like losing weight, you know, there's different ways to get there as long as you're in a calorie deficit. Well, for sleep, it's like we need to have your little one be an independent sleeper. We can take whichever road we want. We just, whatever works for them.
Yeah, very much
independent
connect to that.
sleeper, like it's just, I see people that don't, you know, do that not necessarily right away. Everyone's different when they want to kind of really facilitate an independent sleeper. Some people literally, it's they come home from the hospital and that's the moment that they want their kid to be an independent sleeper. But like, I just see people that are, I feel like their lives are limited because they literally have to like lay with their kid, or can't go out to dinner with their girlfriends, or, you know, their kids in their bed. No one's actually having a great night's sleep. Like everyone, I don't want anyone, people are on their own. I don't want to upset anyone. Like that's your values. But for me, it was so important that I facilitated independent sleepers.
Oh yeah. Yes, 1000%. And again, it's because like, it's such an important part of my life to be able to like, okay, now you go to sleep and whatever. So it's hard sometimes. And I think we agree, Leash, like it's hard to like look at other people and think like, this is what you want to like sleep with them. Like, but at the same time, like, again, everyone can want different things. But I think that like, I'm like, maybe you're being like, you're like kind of stuck in your beliefs that like, this is making you better, or you have to. So if you are listening to this and you're like, that would be the dream, that I would put my kid in bed and I could leave, and everyone's happy and everyone's having a good night's sleep, like, then that's possible. I think that's what
I just want people to know that it's possible. Yeah. But if they love what they're doing and it works for them, great. But if they don't, there's a way of making changes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of, if somebody doesn't want to lose weight, you're never forcing anyone. It's just that if they want, you have resources and help. You know what I mean? It's the same for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Can you give us like, I want like a success story. Give us like give us like,
fun.
Like a really, one of your most favorite stories.
Okay, well, one that surprised me, I'll share. And it's actually like really somebody from around here. So yeah. So this couple, the little girl was 4 months and she had only slept on mom since she was born. So for night and day. Okay, only slept on mom. And so mom was obviously like exhausted, and it's dad that kind of pushed mom to do this because it's like she needs to sleep, you know?
Good job, Dad. Good job.
I see a lot of amazing dads. They're not all the time, but yeah, some of them. And so yeah, so we started with this family, and I was a little scared because, you know, it's like a big change putting her in her crib and, you know, trying to let her fall asleep on her own. And we went with a more gentle approach where the mom would be in the room. And after like 3 days, the mom was no longer in the room in the chair because she was just falling asleep. Like she got it like right away. I think she was so ready to just be in her bed. And yeah, she was just ready to sleep on her own. But I think it was mom that was holding on a little bit. And yeah, so that was one that surprised me the most, because we went from like 0 to 100 with like 0 tears, like nothing was traumatic. The little girl was just ready to be on her own and sleep through a night, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like, I just feel like motherhood in general, like we get lost in the fact that like, and it's not even like, you know, I don't know if it's the tears or the show. It's like, I don't think society thinks that moms should sleep on a chair with their baby on their chest. Like, I don't think that's what society's pushing out there, but I do think that there are like a lot of responsibilities on new moms and you're just like, you're not sure. And like, you can be a young mom sometimes, and like, you don't even know what's happening. Like, c'est juste des patates, and you're like, you have to keep it alive. It's just a lot.
And then like, on top of that, like your vagina
burning,
your stomach is burning. Like, it's like, it's in, are you breastfeeding? Are you not? Both are difficult.
It's just,
yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
It's so traumatic. no one warned us. We say this all the time, Alicia and I, like, no one warned us about how traumatic it is, and just like how you're no longer like the person you were before. Like, so literally from one day to the next, your responsibilities up, c'est plus les mêmes, your purpose, everything changes, like, and you're not sleeping. When you're not sleeping, and when you said you saw shadows, I like, ça c'est vraiment, c'était pas long, but I still remember it, just like being so tired that I'm like with Dia. So I'm a 28-year-old, like, new mom and whatever. And she was just crying. And I remember saying to Jeff, like, all I want is literally 10 minutes of silence and sleep. And then I would fall asleep thinking she was on me. And then you wake up and you're like, and you're like, oh no, she's in her bed. Oh my God, c'est qu'une tétine dure, toute pleine de lait. Oh, ça fait mal. Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't miss that part. Like you say, Jose, like newborn is not your thing. Same. Like I know, not
my thing.
Okay, I can't stop.
You're doing great.
Tell me about, because looking back retrospect, I feel like there's things I did with Alfie that weren't facilitating independent sleepers. What do you think that people can do when they first come home, literally from the hospital, to facilitate eventual independent sleepers?
Good question. So maybe like top tips from when you get home with your little one for sleep type of thing. And well, maybe two main one that I found out too late at like 9 weeks. So a white noise machine is a game changer. So I would have that from day one. Like my sister just had her second baby and she brought it to the hospital and everything, you know, she was ready. And they could tell she was not a first time mom, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, so that would be one thing that I and I'm not the kind of person that likes gimmicks or tools or things, but that is a must have, okay? And a swaddle. Like I highly recommend swaddling your little one because of the motor reflex, and that will give you like longer stretches. And because they were in your belly for like 9 months, it's tight there, you know, they're used to being all snuggled up. And so for sleep, I would definitely have white noise machine and the swaddle and then the sleep sack eventually. But those are the main, and just try to keep them well rested. So I guess I have 3 tips. So do not let them be awake for more than like 45 minutes to an hour. So like awake windows, keep it short, because if not, they'll get overtired and it's hard to put them down. And so trying to offer a nap every 45 minutes to an hour, white noise machine, swaddle. Yeah, that is a great start.
One part, the swaddling part for me was huge with Dia, not as much Noah. I don't even remember Noah. I don't even remember raising that child. But Dia, it's very interesting. I think Noah just like so in the trenches of like your weight loss was just crazy busy. Like it's just Dia had more time to like be a mom and worry about the shit. And Noah,
you actually had like mat leave with Dia, kind of.
Yes, Noah, no mat leave. Like I'm in my office, he's 2 weeks old and I'm crying at my office and my mom's raising him. That's literally what happened. But so Dia, I remember that. And Alicia came to my home and we just like had the conversation of like, it's true when they're sleeping and they're not swaddled, like their hands, they don't know their hands are their hands. They don't know what's happening. And they're like literally hitting their face and like waking up. And so the swaddling was a game changer for me. And even putting her in a chair, like she was like in a sleep chair for like months, like kind of like comme de quoi tu les mettrais pendant que tu cook là, whatever. She slept in that. Basically, c'est comme si c'était son petit sac, son petit area là, just like that in her crib. The chair was in the crib.
Oh my gosh, Josie. That is not safe, guys, but I don't recommend, but your child is alive, so it's all good.
Public service announcement, do not do that.
Do not do that. Yeah, do not try that at home.
Oh my God.
Essentially, a flat, hard surface is safer for little ones. For sleep.
Yes, everyone.
Yeah, just we always need to talk about safe sleep, you know, I just don't want to.
Oh, yeah. No, we appreciate that. I was curious about swaddling because I feel like I didn't know if it was still a thing. I'm not going to lie, you guys. One of my superpowers is swaddling. I could swaddle Neil and he could not get out. Like I mastered
That's a special skill.
Please do it. Okay, great question here though. This is a good one, and Alicia will be interested. I want it's twins. It's about twins. So she has 2.5-year-old twins. They do not sleep through the night still. She's wondering if it's time for them to have separate beds.
Okay.
So I guess they still sleep
separate
in the
beds or bedroom? Bed?
Separate beds, she wrote.
Oh, mancha.
I would think, yes, it would be time for separate beds. And also, I had more questions about that question. Like, is one sleeping good, the other not? Is one waking up? Let's say they're both sleeping not that great. I would just keep them in the same room, but different beds. But let's say one is a great sleeper and the other one, I would just try to remove one and work on their sleep and then put them together when they sleep good. But yeah, probably they would like their own beds at that age, I'm assuming. Yeah. And you can work on their sleep if they're in the same room. But if one is like a great sleeper, I would remove that one, maybe put it in your room or something for a little while. And yeah, because sometimes it can affect the other child's sleep.
Okay. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God. But at the same time, like I've never had twins, so I don't know that bond or what the rules are for twins. But in my mind, two kids, two different bedrooms. Like,
But
let's do all our thing.
Like they especially like to be in the same bed when they're young, but as they get older, they probably want their own space, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yeah. Did you experience that, Alicia?
I from a really young age had them in their own cribs.
Yeah.
But they're 8 and they've shared a room since birth. And they want to continue to share a room. There was one night where Phoebe had a bad night's sleep and I brought her out and then she was like, hey, that's it. I want my own bed. And I said, no problem. The next night I said, okay, it's bedtime. She was like, no, I'll miss my sister.
Yeah.
So, and it's like a comfort thing, you know, I hear them talking. I give them a time that they can talk until, and they wake up together. So eventually they'll probably want their own rooms, but for now it works.
And they might never want their own rooms. You know what I mean?
Know.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I'm like excited for you.
Piper would sleep longer for sure. Like Phoebe wakes up earlier, but it's not a massive compromise. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's like maybe a 20-minute compromise every day. Like they go to bed and they sleep all night long. So it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sleep regressions. Any tips for sleep regressions? Those are hard.
Is that even a thing? Like, is that like a plateau?
Yeah, so sleep progression, we in the sleep consultant world, we call it more of a sleep progression. Usually there's like developmental changes that's happening. And like, let's say the 4-month, you hear often the 4-month sleep regression. Well, that is because their circadian rhythm is kicking in and their sleep is changing. It's more like mature sleep. So if your little one was not an independent sleeper, it's going to be worse. You know what I mean? Like your little one is going to wake up every hour, 2 hours, whichever, like after a sleep cycle. But if you worked on sleep and your little one is falling asleep on your own, sleep is just going to become better. But then along the way, I'm not sure if you remember, there's always like new skills they're learning. Well, when they have a new skill they're learning, sometimes it can affect sleep. Like let's say they're starting to crawl or stand up, turn on their tummy, every little thing. Like it's just like little bumps. Usually they don't last. If you have an independent sleeper that's a great sleeper, you might have a few days of like not as much as great sleep, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll wake up a few times in the night or refuse a nap or two, but it doesn't stay. Like it's not something that stays. Like if it's weeks, it's like it's not a regression, you know, it's something else. Yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe they're sleep deprived, maybe they're overtired, and you know, there's other things playing a role. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is if it lasts longer, it's not sleep regression, something else, some new habit or something different is going on.
Exactly. And sometimes there's kids, I've worked with families like that, where every time a new skill comes along, they want to practice in their crib. I don't know why, they just want to practice in the crib while it's time to sleep. So those, it's annoying, but it is what it is. And as long as the parent do not interact, you know, you just let them try to crawl, let them try to, and then they'll fall asleep eventually. And if they don't, we can't force them to sleep. We just offer the nap. You know what I mean? Like we can't force a child to sleep.
I know. And I think that's the difficult part, you guys, with like sleeping. It's like, you can't, like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want? Like, and I had 2 amazing sleepers. Like, I'll say it like, ça peut être un problème. Just like, basically I'm like, they're like, how is Noah? Like, he's 3 months old. I'm like, he's just being a 3-month-old. So it's hard. Like he's waking up twice a night, but like he's doing his job of like being hungry at night and like whatever. So it's not easy, but they did their job well. Like now they're both 4 and 8. Everyone sleeps at night, whatever. They get out of bed if they need be. Like it is what it is. But where was I going with this? Oh no, wait, what was it? The thing. Shit.
Regression.
It's like when for me, I was always willing to get up in the night. That never upset me to get up in the night. But if we're getting up in the night and then you're not going back to sleep, that was always the part. You know what I mean? And you're like, what do I do with you now? Like,
So this is where I was going with this, is that sometimes I meet people and they're like, my kid does not sleep. Like, and vraiment, je suis sorry, parce que in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, you cannot force them to nap or to whatever. I know maybe there's some like strategies to like that you're not, I would have to talk to you, but like, I feel really bad when it's like, I don't know what I would like. I understand that you can't force them, c'est comme va te coucher, c'est ce que je veux dire. But my kids go to bed early, and like, but is it because I got that routine down?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm not sure.
Right. You know what I mean? You have to. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. One more piece of advice here. Let's say you have a sleeper who's more like a toddler. They're in a big boy bed and they just are either like needing you to go to sleep, or they always like end up in your bed. Like, how do you like cut the umbilical cord when they're like toddlers? They don't need to eat in the night. Like, they do not need you in the night, but they need you in the night.
Okay, well, one thing I would try to, which I think Josie you did, I would leave your toddler as long as you can in their crib, like at least 3 if you can, because you don't want a 2-year-old.
Well, look at that, everyone. My goodness.
Like if a 2-year-old is in a toddler bed, like it's going to be hard to keep that 2-year-old in a toddler bed because it's too much freedom for them. They just, they want to explore everything. Yeah, it's too much freedom. But let's say your little one is 3.5, and you have a hard time. They have a hard time staying in bed. And I would like reinforce some rules in a sense. Like you need to let them know that they need to stay in bed. And then some people even use a gate sometimes if the little one really like, and to silently walk them back is the best option, like to not interact. So you keep it super boring, you just walk them back to their bed. They even climb in their bed. Like the less you do, the less is more, And also okay to wake clock is a great tool to like, if the clock is sleeping, well, you should be sleeping type of thing. And then when it's green, then you can get out of bed. So it's like little rules you can enforce. Like even mine, sometimes he'll wake up before the clock and I say, you should have stayed in your bed. And then it doesn't repeat, like it happens once in a while, but I just remind him, the clock was not green this time. Yeah. So it's like it's more behavior and patience. So you need to just stick with it for a little while, and then they just don't even want to get out of bed because there's no point.
Yeah, because I love you said keep it boring.
Keep it boring.
Yeah.
And like if they get out of bed and every time you like, oh, but you, and then bring them in your bed, they're gonna keep coming back for more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like, obviously it was not like a strategy of keeping him in his bed for the longest time possible. It was literally just like, this is working for our family. He is not, il est pas tannant le matin. He stays in his bed. He does his thing. When I'm ready, I go get him. He's not like mama at 6 a.m. Like he just like literally is so used to it. He's also a chill kid. Like he's like, oh, whatever, I'll stay here. So that's why I did that. But it was literally for my sleep, for everyone's sleep. You know what I mean? For everyone. So even if people are like, oh my God, he's still in a crib. I'm like, absolutely. I'm the one that needs to wake up with him. When I give him the freedom, like you said, I knew I was giving him freedom to leave the bed. And I didn't know what was that going to look like. Was he going to come and, annoy us at 6 a.m.? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So,
And even my son, it took him like maybe 5 months to know that he could get out of his toddler bed. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't tell them. Yeah. Like if they say you don't say anything, but then, do
not tell them.
Yeah. Do not tell them.
I actually moved Alfie out of his crib because I had the twins when Alfie was just turned 2.
Yeah.
So I wanted his crib and I was like, regretted that.
Yeah, no, well, I was just going to say, some people, c'est juste succès, you're expecting your second and they need to be out of the crib, but I'm like, I maybe would invest in just 2 cribs. Like
I would invest in a secondhand $100 crib.
100%.
Instead of not sleeping, but but you had twins. That's a little different, but still, yeah.
A great question here. Someone's asking like how to stop the bottle for my 18-month-year-old in the night. So I guess my question is there a number or a recommendation where it's like, your kid does not need to eat right now? Like, is there a time?
That's a good question. I guess every child is different, but most kids at around 9 months no longer need 9 months to a year, no longer need a night feeding. You know what I mean? Some it's even as early as 3 months, they stop feeding through a night. Yeah. So it varies, but 18 months, I am pretty sure it's not a need. It's more of a habit. And she can easily maybe just cut it down, or you can do cold turkey if you're willing to have maybe a few screams, I guess. But I would cutting down and just remove it. Yeah.
So
Because
start with like 5 ounces and then 4 ounces or whatever, and slowly
just because no, it's probably not a need. It's probably more unless the doctor said or something. I don't know.
That way. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But like I feel like at that point, the need is not even the milk. So like even the 10 ounce, the 5 ounce, it's that moment of in the middle of the night, my mom comes and whatever. So I think no matter what, I don't think it's like, oh, now I no longer need milk. It's like, you in the middle of the night. So it's like how to cut that, I think is difficult. Maybe like one, I don't even know. You stay less, you make it boring.
Yeah, you spend less time.
Yeah. And like, if ever there's a struggle, then we can use like certain methods. So you always, another thing is like always doing the same thing and being predictable. It helps and it sets like a sense of comfort and security. So
yeah.
It's changing that. And less is more. So
I don't know if the internet's ready for what I'm about to say, but like I definitely did cold cut. Like I said, cold turkey, earplugs. Hope that when I wake up, she's alive and not crying. And it's like, je pouvais plus. She's comme, you do not need milk. You're like 10 months old, you're whatever. And I just like put the earplugs, slept through the night. In the morning, I would do this. And I'd be like, oh my God. Okay. Then I go see her and she was sleeping. Didn't know if she cried. Didn't know if I was like, okay. So in my mind, it felt great. She might've cried 7 hours. Who knows? But elle était têteuse, Dia. She was like a long crier.
That's why there's method that sometimes parents would not want to use, but they kind of have to with their child if they want, you know what I mean? Like, it's not because we want, it's just so you're upsetting them for going in all the time, you know? So why do you want to have them cry more? You know what I mean?
I like 100% ended up also letting Alfie cry it out, and it was heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
However, I reminded myself that he was crying more in those 4 days that I slept trained him, but he was crying way less in the next 10 years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it was the best thing that I ever did for myself, my children, my family. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
And
it was
I did gentle things. He needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Exactly. You tried being gentle. She did, everyone. She definitely did.
It's not for every kid. No. Yeah. And like you said, like there's more, it's worse for a child to be sleep deprived for like 10 years than having a few tears for a few nights. And
yeah, you've been saying that a few times on how like well rested, your child being well rested is a big part of your child's behaviors. Listen, we're less than 1 minute left. People can find you on Instagram, Sleepbebesleep, sleepbebesleep.com. We thank you so much for being here, Sonya. C'était tellement fun. I mean, I feel like we could get 2 podcasts out of you. This was fun. Let's take a picture. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
On Instagram, she's amazing, gives tons of advice. Bye everyone.